Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to our monthly webinar series. We take our members and tap them in all their knowledge so that they can share some bits of information that could make your life or your business do better. So today we have David Bishop from Technolegs. One fun fact I love about David is that he was on the internet before Microsoft had their website. So he had a website a month before Microsoft did. And I believe I have that right. Is that right, David?
You got it 100% right.
Okay. And he has been doing websites, and not just websites, but websites that actually work and convert and help businesses grow for a couple decades now. So, David, we are so happy that you're here. David's also part of our board of directors.
Yep.
So he's in leadership here at the chamber. And I'm going to hand it over because we have a lot to go over and hopefully, take some notes. And once again, though, you'll have this recording to reference back. So, David, it is all yours.
All right. Well, thank you, Kathleen. What I'd like to do is I hope everybody can see our screen. It is called Websites in the Age of AI, and it's why getting it right matters now more than ever. As you may know, AI has become a huge part of the way people do things in the world. And one of the things that is really affected is how websites are handled, how they're written, how people access them, and how they're looked at, more importantly, in search. You have AI assistants, AI overviews, things like Perplexity, Claude, ChatGPT. People get answers without actually visiting those famous 10 links from Google anymore. They get it by asking AI questions. And AI researches their answers significantly differently than you get from Google. And so what we're going to do with this today is kind of get rid of some of the noise around this and give you a checklist to get your website up and running in a way that is suitable for AI. So as you can see now, search has changed a lot. Um, you know, the if you go to Google and you do something, what do you get? You get a AI summary above everything now. 58% of Google searches end without anybody clicking on a website. You think that's a bad thing? It's really not. The local and business discovery happens in AI assistance. It's people asking questions, saying, what's the best business in my area? Not accountant in near me. That's going away. So it's really what's called a zero-click behavior with the generative answers coming up first. And it's something to really pay attention to. So what are we going to cover? It's very simple. What is AI search? SGE is a fancy term for search generative experience, and that basically means just generating answers from AI. The AI overview and Copilot, we're also going to show how AI is changing SEO and what it means to get your website right. That's most importantly. And of course, you're going to get a practical checklist that you can take back and either do it for yourself, give to your AI people, your web developers, and help them help you. So as we've changed, we've gone again, as I said, from the 10 blue links to AI. And you have to remember here that AI search is still search in the traditional sense. You're asking it questions when you're searching, and it's going to give you the answer. But the answer is conversational. It's not just a list of websites and you can go and then do the research. It's giving you cited answers. And those citations are important because if you look at the answers and you want to know more, you go to the citations. And the citations is where you want to show up. Those are the important things that happen now. And that's where you want to be listed. So, what has happened now recently? AI chatbot answers, they're growing 81% year over year. That's an incredible change in the marketplace. Google has had the number one position with 95 or 98% of the search market for a couple of decades now, basically since just after the 2000s. And that has now totally changed. Right now, LLMs, AI assistants, they're handling a lot of the global queries, and it's more intense, more direct than what you're getting with traditional search, because what you're getting is the answers you're getting are going to help you, they're going to be relevant, and they're going to help you make a decision. What's happened with that is your website may get fewer visits. If you were number one, number two on that first homepage for answers, you may notice that your visits are going down. But the difference is when those people have come to visit your site, they're already in there looking and ready to buy because they've seen the information that they need to make the sale. How do they do that? Well, it's very simple. They have the answer engine, and the answer engine gives you the information that these people need to make the sale. You don't have to do anything. It shows that a lot of traffic has declined in regular search, but if you have a highly cited page, you can actually gain traffic because you will have smarter people, more informed people coming to your site. So the SEO game that people have told you, it's not really dead. What you have to do is measure and optimize for AI so that you can then get those results back from people. So local discovery used to be what's the best, family friendly Italian restaurant near me with outdoor seating. That's what you ask nowadays. Used to be type Italian restaurant near me, go through the list, look at the listings, see if they had outdoor seating, hope they had it available. Now you're going to AI and you're giving them a full sentence like you're talking to a friend. And they do highlight the local businesses. It's not just through keywords, though. It's through the structured data on the website. This is now different. And of course, the reviews are summarized for AI. The important thing to remember about this slide is that your Google Business Profile and your Bing Places profile and your Yelp profile and things like that are extremely, extremely important in the world of AI. So now you have a new goal. You need to be the source that AI cites. AI pulls in cards from citations and trusted pages. What that means is that your Google My Business page and all that stuff now becomes more important to AI because they're literally reading your reviews and they're reading what's on your Google My Business page and putting that into their answers. The AI Copilot answers are in there, and the generative engine optimization. That's a big thing because now what it's doing is the not just ranked results, it's the AI generated answer that you have gotten from your stuff. So position one is less meaningful. It's again taking all the sites that you have, your Google My Business, your website, your Yelp reviews, your other reviews, putting them all together and making sure that it's in a way that AI can answer and get it out there in a result. So from keywords to entities to topics, what are they? Well, modern search engines have your people, your places, your brands, and your concepts. Those are the most important things. What you need to do is have that structured content appear in the AI answers. And you have what's called topic clusters. So you want to be able to format your pages with information so that AI reads it. It's no longer like people putting in keywords and building it around a couple of keywords. You have to build it around your brand. You have to build it around your key um, services that you offer and be able to do it in a local area or in a area to talk about the people in your region so that this way AI knows that you're dealing with a particular type of person. I know it's a little bit confusing, but we're going to put it all together at the end. What is EEAT? EEAT is very simple. It's expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Okay, in layman's terms, you have to be able to prove that you're experienced to AI. You have to prove that you are an expert. You have to prove that you have authority because you are referenced in other areas. And you have to be trustworthy, which means you have to have good, clean reviews. People have to like you, and you have to have the information that AI is looking for. Those are the most important things. Remember how when AI first started and everybody jumped on, we can do SEO with all this ghost written SEO text. Well, guess what? Nowadays, that means absolutely nothing because AI knows what AI wrote. And so, what they're doing is they are discounting their own stuff because their own stuff is too flowery, too generic, and too random to generate answers in the AI world. So, what do you have to remember about this? Not getting the clicks you got before does not mean that you don't have value. 58% of Google searches, as we said before, end without a click. It's going to go higher. But the visitors convert much better because they've already compared their options in the answer box if they've done more than just read the answer and go through and click on the first one, which most people don't. They go through, they ask more questions, more detailed questions, and if you keep coming up in those answers, they're going to come to you. And again, the key performance indicators are now AI citations, branded mentions, and assisted conversations. So those mean that basically you're going to be showing up more and more in those results. And the more you can make that happen, the more business. It's not just about traffic anymore. It's about having influence with AI. So how do we go about doing it? What does it mean to get your website right? Step one, we got to make sure that AI and people know who you are. So you have to make it obvious who you are, what you do, where you do it, and who you serve. You have to make sure that your Google My Business, your Bing places, your Yelp reviews, all that have consistency across each one. Your name needs to be the same in all these. Your address needs to be the same in all these. Your hours of business need to be the same in all these. Your description of your business needs to be the same in all these. If they're not, the AI engines are going to say, well, something is wrong here. And that's going to be a problem. It's not going to show up as much. And then use descriptive entity rich language. What that means is no more of this generic AI stuff. You need to talk about local landmarks, neighborhoods, industries, and the technology that you do. So let me just stop for a second. Let me give you a vague, like a generic vague versus entity rich example. For a vague homepage, okay, let's just say we have an accounting firm that's in Owings Mills. You might see a site that shows up at the beginning. They have their nice picture, and then they have this welcome to our accounting firm. We provide professional accounting and tax services for individuals and business. Our experienced team is here to help with all of your financial needs. Sounds great, sounds powerful, sounds like it's direct and to the point. It is. AI hates that. There's not enough information for them to cite you. What you really want to do is something like this. Small business owners in Owings Mills and Northwest Baltimore rely on us to keep their payroll, bookkeeping, tax planning off their plate and done the right way. From solo LLCs in Foundry Row to multi-location contractors along Reisterstown Road, we provide year-round accounting support, proactive tax strategy, and clear monthly reports so you always know where your cash is going and what you'll owe before the IRS does. Why does that work better? Because it's naming a clear audience. Small business owners in Owings Mills and Northwest Baltimore, instead of that, generic individuals and businesses. You get real world locations. So it knows Foundry Road, it knows Reisterstown Road. When you're doing searches, it's going to pull up those areas. It's going to say who's in that area, who services that area. These people do. Calls out entity types such as LLCs, multi-location contractors, instead of the generic will fix your financial needs. And it focuses on outcomes. Get things off your plate, know where your cash is going instead of we're going to make your life easier. This is specific, and this is what AI is now talking about. So, what you want to do is you want to build these clusters together. You want to create these pillars around your key entities. In other words, what are you doing? What is your key services? Support those services with articles focused on subtopics within it and link them back to your main page. So if you have a page and go back to the accounting firm, you have a page on taxes, and then you have an article or a blog post about taxes, you want to make sure that you have links back to your main page that shows with a good description what that link is so that the AI goes to that subpage and says, oh, okay, this goes back to the main page. This is very important. And it signals what's called topical authority. And that actually works in both traditional search and AI. So it's kind of an old school way of doing things, but people have to remember that more and more with AI, it will not only just get you like it used to be ranked a little bit higher, but with AI, this will definitely get you cited more often. What you need to do next is look at the content that feeds AI. You can answer complex conversational questions explicitly, the way people type them into AI. In SEO, we talk about prompts and long tail phrasing. Well, the long tail phrasing is now really important because that's the way AI works. There's no 2 second, 3, 4 word typing in a search engine. It's a whole thing. It's not my accountants in Owings Mills. It is give me an accountant who can do tax preparation for a small business in Owings Mills. You need to be able to do that for AI. In addition, if you include things like concrete numbers, examples, and comparisons, AI will be able to safely quote those. If you put in generic information, they tend not to look at it. If you put in a specific number, they will look at that as much more. It's credible, trustworthy chunks that your LLM can then put into an answer. And that's what you want. You want AI to be able to put an answer together for your client, for the person who's reading it directly. Step 4, we need to make sure that your site is machine readable and it's fast. This is an old school SEO method. It's things that people like me, do all the time on the back end. You have to make sure everything is structured correctly. You have to make sure that your programming language is done correctly. You have to make sure that it looks good on mobile and it looks good on a desktop and that everything is organized in a correct way. Because now AI looks at the back end because they're looking at the code as more so than the pages. And those what we call schemas, are much, much more important than they used to be. This is something that you really need to talk to a professional about more so than any of the other things that are in here, because they're going to know how to do the back end work much better than you could by looking at at it yourself. And then what happens now? You need to make sure your site is for high intent visitors. And what that means is these are people who already know what they want. They're educated. They've looked at their answer. It's not the funnel being extremely wide and getting everybody from coming in. What you're looking at is the specific people who have already heard something about you and your site and what they're looking for. They know what they're looking for. They're coming to you now for that answer. So it has to deliver a crystal clear value proposition. And you have to have what's called a frictionless call to action. Make it easy to get people in there. Make it easy to get people to leave their information. That's been one of the things that I push for years to people is you must make it easier for people to leave their information because they've already come to your site knowing what they want. If you can tell them exactly what they want and you can give them an easy way to get in touch with you, that's going to be important. You also need to make sure that you have reviews on your site or case studies, something to prove to them that not only what they saw in AI is true, but what you have now is true. And you have to make sure that it's slide designed in such a way that you don't want to waste the most qualified click that you've ever had. Make sure your page is lined up the right way. I have a couple of more things here before we're finished. The first thing is if you're a local business, again, make sure your Google business profile, your main profiles are lined up. Make sure that you have keyword rich reviews. You can ask customers to say, talk about my services and mention the service exactly if you're asking for reviews. And then create locally targeted pages for key areas. This has gone up and down. In Google's world, it used to be extremely important. Then it became, if you had multiple pages the same, it became less important. Now it's become important again. And here's the screen to copy for everybody, putting it all together. This is your checklist. And I'm not going to read this to you, but what I would suggest you do is take a look at this page, screenshot it, look at it on the videos. Take a look if you want to work on something. Do one checklist item at a time. See if you can do something with it. To me, that's the most important thing. And of course, if you can't get to it, I can certainly help you. I can take care of you with an audit. I can look at, how you want to do this. And of course, we do a full redesign. All of our consultations are free. We can sit down and do a quick assessment for you. Or if you want to go into more detail, we can do even a paid assessment. So the two big questions that you have to think about is what worries you most about AI and your website, and where do you see the biggest opportunity in your market? If you know the second one, then we can design the first part and get that answer working correctly for you. And that's the most important thing. So that is the presentation. I did want to say thank you. And if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one, you can scan that or go to calendly.com/dmbishop or go to my website, technolegs.com, and contact me there or call me on my cell. And that is it.
So, David, you just gave incredible information, and I know many people are just diving or putting their toe in really into AI and trying to understand how this is going to affect their business. And this is a
Mhm.
huge issue, and what you went over is extremely valuable. So we thank you for that. But don't want to take up any more time with that because we have some questions. So. The
Ah,
first
okay.
question is if your clients are in Annapolis and you're located in Owings Mills, but want clients closer, which should be your focus?
Well, if you're in Annapolis and you really, if you're, excuse me, if you're in Owings Mills and your clients are there, you should have pages that are set up specifically for Annapolis. So if you are, again, that hypothetical accounting firm, you can have a page that says, you know, Annapolis Accounting Services by our company, and we know the Annapolis market. Go through that. Go through specific, have pages, specific areas and towns surrounding Annapolis or parts of Annapolis. Have pages like that on your website. That will help AI because it will say that you know specifically about these areas, and that will raise your ranking.
Okay. So geo-focus your website
Correct.
pages. Okay. So thanks for that. Another question is, does it matter whether testimonials are text or video?
Text testimonials are much easier for AIs to parse. It does work better like that. You can do video testimonials all the time. What you can also do with a video testimonial, though, is something I always recommend, is have a transcript available and put that transcript next to it or have it available with a link so that when AI sees that testimonial, they know how to get to the actual text of it.
Perfect. And someone's asking if you can display your contact slide again. So if you could do that while I read you this last question.
Sure, make me
Um,
go back into this.
I am. I am. Um, Another question. If you have a search area on your website homepage, specific areas you service, is this conducive to AI search? So it's specifying areas that you service. Is this helping with AI search?
It is and it isn't. If it is in the sense that you're having these service page areas that, hang on, I'm just trying to find that page here. That service area is good to have it listed because what AI is going to do is they're going to take a look at it and they're going to be able to read those areas. However, you need to have those points that I talked about before, those local landmarks. That's where those extra pages come in. So you can say, I service Carroll County, Baltimore County, Howard County, Baltimore City. But you need to be able to put pages in there now that have those areas listed. So, for example, if you're doing Carroll County, you have a page for Sykesville and have a similar page for Westminster so that people are looking in those areas specifically, they will pull up more in AI.
Okay. Perfect timing. We are at 10:30. I thank everyone who jumped on this webinar today. It was a popular one for sure. And for those that had sent in some questions. David is full of answers. So there is his contact information if you'd like to reach out and just have a one-on-one with him and just get to know him and his business a little better, and he can get to know you and your business. So once again, David, thank you so much
Oh, you're
for
welcome.
sharing all that information with us. And within the next 48 hours, you will see this recording on our YouTube channel, the Northwest Chamber YouTube channel. So while you're there, please subscribe so that as we upload new videos, you'll be notified. All right, everybody have a great rest of the day, and we will see you next month at our next webinar. Thanks.
Thank you.